Hi guys, I'm down on site today here at my client's site down in Hampshire, in the Fleet area. We've had a really busy week on site. We've been meeting local agents, looking at marketing proposals. We've been preparing our exit, considering things to sell off plan. And today I'm doing a piece on women in construction. So I'm going to take you across to our film crew. Here are the guys. Say hi to everyone at home, everyone. And over to you guys. Hi guys, welcome to the channel again. If you like educational content and you want to follow the journey of this site and lots of other property investment tips and tricks, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. I'm extremely excited today to be joined by India Hicks from our project management team. She's helping on this huge site. Obviously it takes more than one project manager to get involved. We've worked with India for a number of years now on a few sites.
Yes.
One of our sites in Reading, you helped fix a particularly leaky roof problem, I think it was.
Yes.
And yeah, we also had another leaky roof in Newbury. I don't know, that was one of your colleagues that was dealing with that.
I think it was
actually.
Tom,
So
yes.
we've had a few leaky roofs. That's one of the kind of problems with converting old buildings. You never know quite
What's there until you open it up.
what's
Yes.
there. And when you start digging down and digging holes and pulling bits off, it goes horribly wrong. But so you have to, sometimes foresee that. But I just wanted to invite you down today. I think it's really important that we shed a bit of light on these amazing women that are in construction. It's been a very male-dominated industry for a number of years, and it's great to see that diversity coming in, and I wanted to highlight that and bring India along to hear her thoughts, how she got into the industry and what she gets up to. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How where did you start from? What was your first job and how did you come to be here today, really?
Okay, well I started off working for an entrepreneur up north for a number of years who was involved with lots of different sectors and industries, and I was predominantly involved in his land acquisition to begin with, and didn't have any qualifications or wasn't my chosen profession.
Like sourcing land for him?
Yes,
like that?
from auctions
Right.
and
Okay.
etc.
Amazing.
And then him selling them on or retaining them for value. Yeah, so he then invested in an electrical contracting firm, which had a sort of side business of security systems.
Yeah.
That was sort of back in 2006.
Okay.
And it was then I got the bug and my passion sort of moved towards the construction industry. So I decided maybe I want to do this professionally. So I started with a H&D in construction and property.
Cool.
With a view to extend that convert it onto a degree course in quantity surveying. That sort of passion came from the estimating department, and
So you're a trained quantity surveyor then?
no, I changed my mind.
That was the first bit.
Yes,
You
that was
thought,
the
this is
first
a bit
bit.
boring, bit too many numbers.
Well, yeah, don't tell Steve that. Then.
No, wait. If you're watching, Steve, it's not boring, it's highly exciting.
Yeah, so I completed the H&D in construction and property, and then unfortunately that was when the financial crisis hit, and we were predominantly working in house building. So unfortunately, business wasn't going well, particularly up north. So I decided that I needed to move south, where London seemed to be in its own bubble and not being hit as badly.
Where are you from originally, out of interest?
Down south, but
You are from down south,
Yes,
so you went up north. I did the same. I went to university in Salford in Manchester.
Oh, so did I.
No way.
Yeah.
This is actually happening. How strange. Now, what department were you in at Salford?
In the built environment.
Yeah. Okay.
Doing construction and property, H&D.
Amazing. That
Yes.
sounds cool. It's changed a lot up there, hasn't it? I mean, actually, talking construction, Salford used to be an absolute dump.
Yes, it's been
and
redeveloped a
now
lot.
it's
I don't
lovely.
recognise it whenever I go back.
Yeah,
now.
it's like, and they've got the whole Salford Quays. It's like
Yeah. Well, I think,
Canary Wharf of the North, isn't it now?
Yeah.
It's lovely. It's amazing. And then you came back down south.
yes, obviously when the financial crisis hit,
Yeah.
I then got a role as a PA to the lead director in a project management consultancy, which was sort of multidisciplinaries. You have project managers, quantity surveyors, a few fire engineers.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, and then I decided obviously to finish my degree. So I went to the University of Westminster and completed a construction management degree. So that's when I converted over from QS role, because the first couple of years were always sort of mixed disciplinary.
Okay. Yeah.
So
so
you can choose
one you might want to go into.
you can choose your
basically.
specialism.
Super,
I
yeah.
think year 3. So.
Okay.
Then I completed the degree whilst I was working, which I think is actually a good move with construction, because working on the job, you're having the opportunity to mix with experts and ask questions all the time, rather than doing it full time and having no idea, at that age. So actually,
I'm a big believer in like learning as you go. I mean, I'm kind of self-taught in this industry, to be honest. I haven't done any construction degrees. You're far more qualified.
So,
than
what
I
did you
am.
do at Salford? I didn't ask.
I did audio technology at
Oh,
Salford.
okay.
So
So
I
you
was
know
a
what these guys do.
technical-based degree. Yeah, I do actually. I did all the sound,
Oh, okay.
redesigning studios and loudspeakers, and it was very technical. Lots of maths. So I was good at spreadsheets. I was good at maths. But it was a very technical based degree, and I now know that didn't really suit my personality. I'm far more creative and blue sky thinking. So you know, designing buildings, finding the right buildings, knowing how to chop them up and change them and create a great product for the end user and the end tenants.
Yes.
That's now where I sit. But like you have to try a few things, don't you, to work it out.
Work out what you like doing, what you're passionate about. Yes, certainly.
100%.
Then I worked my way up and became a senior PM.
What do you do? What's your average week look like?
Well, I suppose as a project manager, you're responsible for obviously representing the clients. So you're organising the design and construction team on behalf of the client. So, yes, basically, at the start of any project, you're responsible for appointing a design team. So, you know, obviously you've got your architects, you've got your engineer, your services engineers, structural engineer.
So actually, you're cutting in there, if I may. Your, journey through the industry's probably worked out really well, because in your early years, you were working with a lot of those people deciding which facet you want to go into. Yeah. And therefore you know enough about them to work with them and manage them now. You understand kind of a holistic viewpoint, I guess.
Yes, I mean, I think project managers, the jack of all trades, master of nothing.
Master of none, yes. So you know enough to manage all the individual specialisms.
Yeah, you know a little bit about
really
all of them.
Big skill in itself.
Yeah, and I think to be a good project manager, you have to be able to translate what the design team are saying to the client in layman's terms, so that they understand what's happening and they can make educated decisions, and you manage their expectations in that regard. And then obviously once you've got your design, then be responsible for going out to tender, vetting various contractors on previous projects, experience, how long they've been trading.
How do you find working with the construction guys, because they're the kind of probably the real kind of men of the industry, and
I personally, I don't have a problem. I think it's a lot. I think these days it's more about personality rather than whether you're a man or woman, and how you.
Absolutely, that's how it should be.
Yeah, 100%. And how you.
But that doesn't take away from the fact that you're dealing with construction workers, and historically it's been a male-dominated field, so there is a challenge there. There must be.
I think that's key that you say historically, because when I first started out early in my career, sort of 10, 12 years ago, I did. It was definitely a lot more of a challenge.
Shift.
Yes,
okay,
because
really
I think also that's because, like an example, I was seconded to a local authority in London to work in their schools department, building schools.
Wow.
And some of the sort of permanent staff there, you can imagine in the councils, they've been there for 40, 50 years, and they're sort of old school men, and they're set in their ways, and they don't like
grumpy old men.
Yeah, and they didn't. And I did find it a challenge because I was young. I was quite early in my career, and a woman,
now,
exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So that was quite difficult to manage at the outset, because the men's portrayal of women, I think, at that age is completely different, because they weren't used to having women in the industry or telling them what to do.
And also the project management role is kind of nicely organising, telling people what to do. In the nicest possible sense, working with people, but.
So I think early on it was a bit more of a challenge, but I think with any career, it's a challenge at the beginning until you gain some confidence. But it's completely changed now, and you see a lot more women in the industry, and I think men are a lot more accepting, because it's more of a familiar thing.
I think it's more than accepting. I think a lot of people want to have inclusion and diversity in their businesses, and not just for political reasons, because it makes the right decisions. Women are a lot better at certain things than men are, right? And then we, as a team, we're going to make a better team, and that's my belief, is that everyone has different skills, and we should be tapping into every different skill set and personality out there.
Yeah, I think it's a proven fact a scientifically proven fact that women have got different brains to men, so that means that they can
do one thing at once.
Exactly.
So,
multitasking, key in a construction project. But yeah, certainly I agree with you. Like, diversity drives innovation, new ideas, new processes 100%. To improve things, and that comes from men and women. But I think adding women to the mix, obviously, it's definitely it's an advantage.
Brilliant. So I'm interested to hear kind of like what's one of the most recent projects you've been working on as an example for our viewers at home?
One that was quite interesting that we just completed in Primrose Hill, just sort of backs onto Camden Locks.
Okay.
That was quite good, and that was for a private client. It was his
Sounds
personal
lovely.
house. We were actually doing another project for him separately, which was a block of flats in Godalming.
Oh wow, what sort of value site was that?
That one was probably about 3 million.
Brilliant. Okay, lovely.
Yes.
Sounds like a beautiful house.
Yes. Oh no, his house was 1 million.
Oh, okay, right.
Yes, and that included the excavation of the basement
Okay.
and also the complete refurbishment of his house. So
Okay.
ripping everything out, reinstating.
Right. So the refurbishment
decorating.
part of it was 1 million, and he already owned the house. So it was a 1 million
Yes.
refurb job. Crikey.
1 million refurb, and then it was 500,000 to do the basement.
Oh really? Wow.
Yes, which is
okay.
quite complex.
A lot of people do that in London, don't they?
yeah.
Because space is a premium, so down or
Absolutely.
up if you can.
Yeah,
Ultimately.
yeah. So that was quite a complex one because we had to somehow, efficiently get the muck away from the basement.
Yeah.
So we came up with the idea of getting a license for a barge.
Oh, really?
So
Cool.
yeah, so we could put the muck away
awesome.
on the barge and sail it down the
Genius.
the
You didn't
canal.
just dump
so
it in the canal.
no.
That wouldn't have been very neighbour friendly, would it?
So we recently completed that, and that was a new roof as well, which was quite complex. Obviously, we had to get a crane in, etc.
Okay.
But yeah, that was a really nice, successful
Awesome.
project.
Okay, and then I guess I'd like to understand, like, what's a tricky project you've done? That sounds like a nice high-end luxury, couple of little
Yes.
basements.
All
That's
nice,
tricky,
beautiful
but,
spec.
you're in London, you're going for nice coffee breaks at lunchtime.
Yeah, I suppose.
Primrose Hill. What's a tricky one? Not so glamorous.
I suppose the hardest job that I've done, the most complex, was at King's College Hospital, and I was
Okay.
actually seconded there for 5 years.
Wow,
And
5 years.
yeah, the programme was 10
Wow.
years, and I believe it's still going. So that was
Seriously?
yes. I mean,
Crikey.
the budget I think was 100 million construction bills. So
Wow.
obviously I wasn't the only project manager.
No,
I was there.
clearly.
Yeah, so it's an intensive care ward that had to remain live whilst we were undertaking the construction, and we
Really?
were building on top. Yes,
Wow.
so it was very complex in
Oh my
that
goodness.
we had to build a new plant room. So we had to be very careful that obviously none of the services were, went dead during the
God,
project.
that would be a nervous
Yeah,
one, wouldn't it?
there
You
was-
can't have the power go down there.
Yeah, so we basically built, so we piled around the existing block, so I think
Right.
about 20-metre foundations. So you can
Yeah.
imagine this is in the middle of a hospital site that's live. We had to have various, noise and vibration measures in place to ensure that we had certain levels that they couldn't exceed, which took.
Okay.
That's why the programme was so long, because we had to use methods, sort of breaking out concrete. You couldn't just use a breaker. You had to use
Right.
methods of core drilling to
Okay.
minimise sound, and
Right, interesting.
Um,
Didn't know
so-
there was different methods actually.
it's
So
slower but quieter.
Slower but
So,
quieter. Okay. That's
so
probably why I don't use it. I'm like, just get it done. But I don't have an intensive care unit below my building.
exactly.
thankfully.
I mean, on the ground floor actually there was actually a neurosurgery, which is obviously brain surgery, which was still ongoing during the work.
Someone's
so-
getting their brain,
Operated on,
whilst you were digging
yes.
massive holes a few
Yeah.
metres away.
So I think that was
That
the
is
most
challenging.
complex.
So was that drilling the holes to create a sort of substructure outside the original building to support it, or
That was if we found obstructions in the ground.
right? So it's
So
just testing the
unknowns. So
Right.
obviously we undertake a survey beforehand to see what's
Yeah.
in the ground, but there's things that are missed. So you can
Okay.
you're digging, you're piling down 20 metres, and you can hit something, in which case you have to break it out.
Yeah, we actually had that on this site. Is the ground floor slab where all the drainage is going. We found extra, all the reinforcement, all the metal reinforcement. We dug a test pit, which was quite sizable. 2 metres by 2 metres. Nothing found. Great, crack on. Another part of the building had rebar,
Yes, that's a-
reinforced metal all through it. So
Yeah, the risk
can't
of
check everything.
unknowns. I mean, that's it. Like you said earlier, with existing buildings, and
Yeah.
obviously converting them is new builds are a lot
a lot
easier.
easier. Yeah, you do one check for the foundations, and then you go up without any
Yeah,
problems. Don't you?
no unknowns barely, which
Definitely.
is good.
Well, look, it's been a real pleasure talking to you. Thank you
You
so
too.
much for coming down today, dragging you down
You're
on camera.
welcome.
I'm sure it's a nervous time to come and have a chat and put yourself out there, but we really appreciate it. Appreciate
problem.
everything you're doing for us and on site, and it's been a pleasure working with you, and I'm sure it will continue long into the future. So that was India Hicks. Thank you very much for her to coming on the show today. Hope you've enjoyed watching today's Women in Construction. Please follow the channel. We'll create a playlist around this topic, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.